This weekend, in the readings at the services, we will hear again a couple of different call narratives that God has placed upon his people. The first one is the call of Samuel to become this great prophet. And Samuel wakes up in the middle of the night. He's just a young child, and he hears this voice in the dark of the night. And it takes him a while to understand that voice calling to him is God's voice. And then we move ahead a bit into John's gospel, and we hear the call narratives of Philip and Nathaniel and those first disciples who are invited by Jesus to come and see and to follow him in his ministry in this world. And then, of course, we're going to pause over the weekend to remember and give thanks for the life and the witness of Martin Luther King Jr. And we celebrate the call upon his life to challenge you and me and this nation and our world to justice and to better and more equal relations with one another in this country and in the world. And as we remember and think about God's call upon our lives, I offer you a bit of advice about how it is that you discern the voice of God within your life, because there are so many messages coming at us and so many people telling us what we need to do and should do and how we should feel, and it gets confusing, and oftentimes I think we wrestle with how it is that we understand God's voice within our lives. My first piece of advice to you is to pay attention to those places in your life where you say no, just kind of out of the box and automatically. Many times when we go back and we review those things we've said no to so forcefully at the beginning, we kind of begin to reassess, and we wonder if I just say no to put up a barrier to the change that might be required within my life if I say yes. So pay attention to those things you say no to. I also recommend that you pay attention to the emotions, the kind of feeling that you have in the pit of your stomach, where you just feel that the right thing to do aligns with that feeling within you. Pay attention to that place where God speaks to us most frequently, which I think is in the pit of our stomachs. And then third, I would encourage you to pay attention to those voices in your life that invite you to something that scares you, to something that would require a change in you. Many times we resist saying yes to God's call because that call comes to us in a way that feels very disruptive. And most of us are looking for peace and calm in our lives if we've had enough chaos. And I think that when we do that, we close off the very voice of the one who's trying to reach to us, because God will take us on journeys and lead us along paths that are oftentimes more difficult, but need to be taken, and where God can do amazing things when we put ourselves in position to be that vulnerable and that open to the possibilities of new things that God might be doing in our lives. So pay attention to your nose, feel sort of what lies in the pit of your stomach, and don't be afraid of the change that God might be inviting you to in your life. Because I really do believe those are ways that we can discern God's voice from the myriad of other voices that try to lay claim on our lives. We'll see you Sunday.